It's an interesting thing is I feel like, and I don't know what it's like now, but what was so magical about that time period was the community, were the people. It didn't matter if they were the Marults, it didn't matter who they were. They stepped in and sort of helped folks and built the community by doing that and bringing, it was more like people just helping each other. And it didn't seem like it was who were the haves and the have-nots. It was more like, oh, you're the person down the street. Your kids play with my kids. And it just was more of, it felt like it was more of people just connecting and helping each other. And I'm wondering, is that an old thing or is that a new, you know what I mean?
I almost think it's a small town thing.
It was what, Chris?
I almost think it's a small town thing. Just everybody knows everybody else, and willing to help out.
It's different than knowing. It's different than knowing when you are actually reaching out and helping people. I mean, get the bus, and then that someone's going to be coming down, so your kid could come to that school. It's a person who has the money to go do that and buy the bus. I mean, the Stranahans really helped out that school, but it didn't, whether it was Bree or whether it was me, it didn't really matter. We were all kids, and we were all lumped together, the Baldersons, the Whitcombs, and I felt like there was sort of a sense of real family there, even though we weren't of blood. There was sort of a family there, and people, they made that. And it's those people that you're talking about that actually did step in and do that. And I'm wondering, is that sort of an older way of being than it is today, or
foundation of Aspen that stemmed back in the 40s and 50s, because it was a small town and people had to work hard, and to live here, and they all helped one another, whether it be with their gardens or their children, or if they were sick. Everybody, to me, there's still a little core of that people that are here. I feel this community is one of the most supportive communities. I think it's always been like that. And the other thing is, so the Bloomquists live next door too. They live in Betty's places. So they helped raise Missy. And then Missy got to be really good friends with Jennifer Sechrist. So the Sechrist pretty much took over one of parenting Missy as well. So I always thank them. And I went to see Kenny Moore when he was sort of in his last days. And I just thanked him profusely for raising me and Missy. And they were just, it was that incredible soulful sense of we're community. And it was a small community at the time, and there were no rules.
I feel as a kid, and you're a mom, of course, but it's funny because as a kid, I felt like I had several different parents. And I think a lot of kids felt that way. It wasn't just, not every mom was a soccer mom, and not every mom did everything perfectly. It was like, it was sort of a baton passing of parents, and I felt like that was also something magic and different and unique.
Yeah, and the community school, I don't know if you remember Barefoot Bruce, the math teacher. Yeah. So I used to go supervise the outdoor ed, all of us parents. And so I was the chosen photographer to go photograph the class. I think we were at the Arches. And Bruce used to live in Lanedo, and they called him Barefoot Bruce. He had long hair. He was a total freak. He taught Cuisinart rods at the community school for math. And we all went out. We were all out in the desert, and I think some of the Baldersons were there. And so I was out wandering around in the desert, and the kids were playing, and I got my long lens, and I look up, and Bruce has all his clothes off, and he's in one of these sort of cocoon stone formations, and he's wrapped himself like in this embryonic state, naked. So there was a community school for you.
Yeah, I know Dean talks about that, where we all were like, there was the community. It ended up There was a lot of that kind of stuff too. I remember being in hot tubs. It's funny, when I came out into regular society, people were always like, oh, do I put my shorts on? Do I do this? Do I do that? I always felt like it was like, it didn't, whatever. Some people do, some people don't. You grew up in a situation where when you were camping, it was like everybody, okay, strip down, get in the pool.